Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at, and we're not a stupid country.
The Trump administration is defending its decision to launch strikes on military targets along the Iranian coast after it says 3 U.S. Navy destroyers were attacked by the Iranians late Thursday in the Strait of Hormuz. The ships weren't damaged and there were no casualties. President Trump says despite the back-and-forth attacks, the ceasefire remains in place, while Iran claims it's considering the latest U.S. proposal to end the conflict.
I've met with our dear leader. We had a conversation for about 2 hours. He is really a sincere and humble person.
At the same time, Iran is trying to legitimize its control over the strait by creating a new government agency to tax and vet oil tankers. The Trump administration says that violates international law.
Iran has established or trying to establish some agency that's going to control traffic in the straits. That would be very problematic. That would actually be unacceptable.
Meanwhile, Iran is also once again lashing out at its neighbors. Air defenses here in Dubai responding to new missile and drone attacks Friday. At least 3 people were wounded, prompting new fears that at this point, it's a ceasefire in name only.
They have purposely dragging this out. It's now been a month, and we still don't have much to show for it. I think the prospects of a good deal are likely slim.
The U.S. military carried out more airstrikes on Friday against empty Iranian oil tankers trying to run through the blockade. In Dubai, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
An inverted teardrop over the United Arab Emirates in June 2024, an area of contrast seen on infrared moving over Iraq in December 2022, and a small circular object flying near the surface of the ocean off the coast of Greece in October of 2023. All 3 filmed on U.S. military platforms, and none can be explained by the Pentagon.
It's been in the minds of people for a long time. And that is such, they want to find out about the UFOs.
The videos released Friday are part of files compiled from several government agencies, including the Office of National Intelligence, NASA, the Energy Department, and FBI. They're a mix of newly declassified material and things already in the public view. Pentagon officials say the videos, photos, and documents are raw, largely unanalyzed material released on President Trump's orders in the name of transparency.
And we're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people.
People now know UAP are real, but what are UAP? Who are flying these machines? Who made these machines that can outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform our greatest warfighters? That's the question.
Also in the files, references to unexplained phenomena from the Apollo 12 and 17 missions. The White House says the president is not trying to sway anyone's opinion on aliens or UFOs. Rather, he wants to provide as much information as possible so Americans can make up their own minds. Now, if you want to see the videos and the files for yourself, you can. They're online. Head over to war.gov/UFO. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
It's very much, we hope, under control. It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow.
President Donald Trump on Thursday said he has been briefed on the hantavirus cruise ship outbreak.
We have a lot of people, a lot of great people studying it. It should be fine.
Health officials are monitoring numerous individuals across multiple countries, including the U.S., where officials are monitoring several people across at least 5 states.
I think the key for us is making sure we're in touch early and often, right? As we're monitoring really closely, that way we're able to really wrap the public health apparatus around them and do the work that we know how to do.
146 people from 23 countries are still on board the cruise ship, according to operator Oceanwide Expeditions. They are scheduled to arrive in Spain's Canary Islands this weekend before being flown back to their home countries. Hantavirus is typically rodent-borne, but this outbreak has been linked to a rare strain that in some cases could spread by human-to-human transmission. And while the memory of the COVID-19 pandemic is still painfully fresh to the entire world, the World Health Organization says there is no evidence of a widespread transmission risk.
This is not the start of a COVID pandemic. This is not the same situation we were in 6 years ago. It doesn't spread the same way.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
This week, we've seen a developing investigation into a cluster, a very unusual cluster of cases of a certain type of hantavirus. It's called an Andes virus. It's a hantavirus from South America. And it's the one type of hantavirus that scientists suspect may be able to spread from person to person.
in previous outbreaks, there has been instances of human-to-human transmission, mainly among close contacts, either providing clinical care or people who have had close physical contact. And we believe that's happening and has happened in the case here on the ship as well.
For the decades that scientists have known about hantavirus, they've almost always believed that the only way you can get it is from being in contact with the droppings, the dried urine of mice or other rodents. Different viruses have different abilities to spread. Some, like measles, can spread like wildfire. Others are harder to spread. You have to be in very close contact with someone who's very sick, who has a lot of symptoms. This hantavirus, if it's spreading from person to person, seems to be in that latter camp. Health officials say the general public does not need to be worried about hantavirus. It's still rare. This is not the next pandemic. This is not the next epidemic. This is a cluster of cases, a very unusual situation that is not expected to spread its tentacles across the world. Investigators are still nailing down exactly what's going on. They're still doing genomic sequencing to understand if there's mutations. They're still looking at the cases and when they happened and what exposures they had. There's still a lot of stuff to be ironed out, but it's kind of a turning point in the scientific discussion about whether this is a virus that can spread among people.
A major policy shift could have a big impact on kids across the country. The FDA greenlit fruit-flavored vapes for the first time in the U.S., 4 pods from the e-cigarette company Glass, including mango and blueberry. It's a sharp U-turn after years of blocking those flavors in an effort to stop teens from vaping. But some critics say that crackdown helped fuel a black market of cheap, unregulated Chinese vapes.
If you put anything in your body that was made inside of China, you're taking a risk.
The new vapes also come with new technology, including a requirement for users to verify their age and identity with a government-issued ID.
I see a lot of kids vaping in the bathrooms.
Supporters say vaping can help smokers quit. The FDA wrote in part, quote, under President Trump's leadership, the FDA has authorized a number of less harmful alternatives for smokers. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sparred with lawmakers on that issue during a recent Senate hearing.
You tell us they're the sickest generation of children we've had. How can vaping make them any healthier?
Vaping was going to reduce combustible tobacco use.
But some critics say e-cigarettes will remain risky until regulators get rid of all of those Chinese vapes.
So you got to go to the source, and you need to make sure you're communicating directly and honestly with the American people.
Teen vaping rates are at a 10-year low right now. Only 45 vape products have FDA approval. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
You can't predict the future, and now can't even bet on it in the Senate.
This is a national security risk. The very possibility that a member's vote could be influenced by a bet is reason enough to slam the door shut.
The Senate banned all members and staff from wagering money in prediction markets on certain real-world events, like war, the economy, and the fate of legislation.
The bill is passed.
There's concern on both sides that prediction market speculation could tilt political outcomes.
Trying to place bets where we might have inside information deteriorates the confidence that our constituents have in us.
But the House is playing catch-up with the Senate.
Any place where your role in Congress has a potential for individual benefit, I think needs to be tightly controlled.
The feds arrested a service member after betting on the capture of former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro last month. And Virginia U.S. Senate candidate Mark Moran bet that he would run, then made money when he jumped into the race. Also, plans to bar lawmakers from trading stocks are stalled, despite demands for years.
Send me a bill that bans insider trading by members of Congress. I will sign it tomorrow.
Let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
Stock ban advocates say the public is fed up with lawmakers playing the market. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is an active stock trader but defends her trades. Pennsylvania Republican Rob Bresnahan was a prolific trader but stopped after introducing a bill banning members from trading stocks. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
They say, tornado never hits twice in the same place, but as a witness to it, that's not true. You never know when a storm's gonna destroy your house.
Wallace and her family have seen their fair share of bad storms. This is the second time a tornado has hit her property. The first completely leveled her home.
This is the second time that we've had a tornado hit our house. The first one was back in 1983 when my parents were still living. The house was not so lucky that time. It was flattened. This is the third time that the house has been rebuilt on this foundation. And but we just count ourselves as being lucky and a blessing to be alive.
You can find uprooted trees and power lines across Franklin County's rural communities. Hundreds of people don't have power. We spoke with a Brookhaven resident who says he rushed from his home to Garden City Road, where his mom was trapped inside her car for hours.
I was actually on my way out here when I got the call from my mom saying that she was trapped in between two trees, one in the front and one in the back of them. And she was trapped from like 6 to like 12 a.m. last night. So, and the damage that's been done, like, it's unexplainable because it's gonna take a lot.
We have daisies, sunflowers are great, flowers, carnations, of course. People like roses, a lot of these beautiful spring mixes you'll find.
The Arizona Flower Market prepares for one of its busiest times of year. Mother's Day 2026 means more than 50,000 flowers and 1,500 deliveries.
3808.
But this year, the price of both the product and its transport is up.
Due to the gas, tariffs, everything that we've gotten hit with this year, we do have to put it into the cost of the flowers.
The market is paying delivery drivers more to cover the cost of fuel, as well as to import the majority of its colorful supply coming from South America.
$5 to $10 more if you're looking for like a medium-sized bouquet. So it doesn't make a world of a difference, but on the back end, it does really help.
But the rise in prices isn't leading to a dip in deliveries for the market. After all, this is mom we're talking about.
They do love their moms. You can't go wrong with flowers.
And you can always save more money by going to grocery stores and making a bouquet yourself. If you do that, be sure to get in-season flowers like carnations, daisies, and tulips. And if you want those flowers delivered, call now and lock in that fee. Mother's Day is Sunday. In Phoenix, Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 10 News.
I am here in Missoula at Greeno Park, where in a wooded area like this, foraging could actually save you more than you think. But before you pick or eat anything, experts say you should know exactly what you're looking at.
These are one of the most prolific berries that you can find.
On trails across western Montana, edible greens, flowers, and mushrooms can all be found growing naturally. But Western Montana Wild Forager says many plants have lookalikes, and some can be toxic or cause serious illness. During our walk through the Greeno Park, she pointed out different edible species while also explaining how small details in color, shape, or location can make a big difference.
The biggest mistakes that people make are not cooking wild mushrooms. You really, really do need to cook your morels. You really do need to cook any other kind of wild mushrooms that you find here. We've had some deaths over the years from people eating raw morels, and it's important that you get 100% identification every single time. But luckily we have some really great groups here in Missoula and in Montana online that can help you identify plants, mushrooms, trees, all of it. Learning where these plants and mushrooms grow and getting to know each and every one of them, and also spending time with experts is super important.
River also says foraging isn't just about what you pick, but where you pick it. Areas treated with herbicides or other chemicals can contaminate plants people may otherwise think are safe to eat. That's why she recommends beginners learn from experienced foragers, use trusted field guides, and avoid eating anything that can't possibly be identified. Experts say foraging can be a great way to learn about Montana's landscape while also saving money along the way. But they also say when it comes to wild plants and mushrooms, if you're not 100% sure what it is, don't eat it. Here in Missoula with Nonstop Local, I'm Kendall Hudson.
Chelsea Harville has twin 7-year-old daughters, and like most parents, when she shopped for swimsuits, color was never a safety consideration.
I didn't think at all about color, and I think one of my first eye-opening moments was being in a busy pool and thinking, how do I know where, it's nerve-wracking. I started doing research and realizing that it's important.
And experts say it is, because drowning rarely looks like it does in the movies.
There's not loud noises and splashing. It can happen very quickly and it can be very silent. So unfortunately, drownings can happen even when adults are around.
Lisa Zarda is the executive director of the U.S. Swim School Association. She says that's exactly why visibility matters, starting with what your child is wearing.
It's one of those things that once you know and once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's just surprising when seconds matter that little thing could really help.
Some of the most popular swimsuit colors make a child nearly invisible underwater within seconds.
Light blues, light pinks, whites, really any of those muted pastels are not ideal. You cannot see kids when they're under the water.
Little Flipper's swim owner Laura George says blues and teals vanish into pool water. White creates glare and dark colors look like debris on the floor. The best choice?
Bright neons. You want oranges, pinks, greens, yellows, anything that's really that bright fluorescent color.
Think safety vests, traffic cones, built to be seen when seconds matter. And visibility is just one layer of protection. Experts say designated water watcher, one adult, eyes on the water, no phone, no distractions.
Do whatever you can to make sure that whoever is in charge of watching those kids knows they are in charge of watching those kids.
And enroll your child in formal swim lessons as early as age 1. At this swim school, as young as 6 months. Studies show it reduces drowning risk by up to 88%. For Chelsea, combining all three has changed how she sees every pool day.
And when they're jumping in and diving and doing cannonballs in the deep end and all the things, it's nice to be able to see easier when you're from a distance.
The right swimsuit, a designated watcher, and swim lessons. Together, they're your strongest defense this summer. In Queen Creek, Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
That was a beautiful ride.
230,000 Americans will hear the words "you have melanoma" this year.
Melanoma is the rarest, but also the most aggressive form of skin cancer. The good news is it's highly preventable.
More than 95% of skin cancers are caused by the sun. So you can protect yourself by wearing sunscreen. We recommend using broad spectrum, which protects against both UVA and UVB radiation.
New data from the Melanoma Research Alliance reveals misinformation and confusion about sunscreen is causing many Americans to skip sun protection, increasing their risk for melanoma, with only half of respondents saying they regularly use sunscreen outdoors. Dr. Mark Hurlbert, CEO of the Melanoma Research Alliance, says the best way to protect yourself is to wear SPF 30 or higher on all exposed parts of your body every single day.
About 80% of people were aware that sun can cause skin cancer, can cause melanoma, but only about a third of people were routinely using sunscreen. We recommend that you apply sunscreen in the morning before you leave the house, but to reapply every few hours throughout the day.
Getting 5 or more sunburns in your life doubles your risk of melanoma. So if you need alternative sun safety options or want to add extra layers of protection,
avoiding peak ray hours between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., wearing UPF protective clothing, wearing a wide brim hat, or sunglasses can all reduce your risk for melanoma.
Early detection can help save lives. That's why checking for early warning signs in between annual doctor visits is vital.
Know your body, know what freckles and moles and spots that you have, and then be aware if anything changes, if it starts to grow or change shape or size, if it starts to change color. If it's evolving over time, that's the critical thing to make sure you bring that to the attention of your doctor for further evaluation.
Everyday exposure like driving can contribute to your melanoma risk, underscoring the importance of daily sunscreen use. Dr. Hurlbert says just 3 fingers worth on your arms, face, head, neck, and ears could help protect you from those harmful rays. In Nashville, Tennessee, Asher Red, Fox News.
James, you have a real gift for filmmaking.
Movie-making minions. The yellow troublemakers take over Hollywood, then have to save the world from their own shenanigans in the final trailer for Minions and Monsters. The animated adventure arrives in theaters July 1st.
It's a dead bird.
She's not dead.
When a bird is in a box, it usually does.
She's not dead.
Okay, let's all stop saying the word dead, shall we?
Tim Bartow's Don't Forget to Dance took top honors Thursday night, winning Best Film at this year's Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. Best Actor went to Vincent Rutley for Neighborhood Watch. Jayla Hodge, Jalen Hodge, and Jara Milligan shared Best Director, and Tony Pape won Best Editor for The Ticket. Best Awareness went to Anna Paquin for Back to the Dark Ages, and Aya Obaid and Shan Hafez won Best Writer for Crip Club. Filmmakers had 5 days to write and produce short films promoting disability inclusion in front of and behind the camera.
It gets tiring trying to convince people our lives are valuable.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Atmospheric entry complete. Extend the wings.
Warping in out of nowhere, Star Fox is heading to Switch 2. Following his appearance in the Super Mario Galaxy movie earlier this year, Fox McCloud and his team have a new game release on the calendar. Nintendo made a surprise reveal that Star Fox, based on Star Fox 64, will be heading to Switch 2 consoles June 25th. Dungeons & Dragons streaming group Legends of Avantris have very successfully launched a Kickstarter for a new game. The streamers are publishing Neon Odyssey, described as a space opera with fantasy elements. Their minimum goal was $60,000. They surpassed $3.7 million after just over 3 hours, and more than $5.5 million after 24 hours. The campaign runs through June 3rd. And if a cozy train driving game is on your list of things to play, A Bumpy Ride is pulling into the station. The PC game featuring exploration, passenger, and freight transport in its gameplay is out now on Steam. Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Passengers where they want to go.
Scientists are taking their studies of a skyscraper-sized tsunami that recently occurred in Alaska to another level by making a 3D jet ski riding video game out of it. No, not kidding. Let me explain. Researchers say in August of 2025, an entire mountainside broke off of a massive Alaskan glacier, sliding into the sea and creating a gargantuan 1,500-foot-plus tall tsunami that tore through the remote Tracy Arm Fjord, causing immense destruction to the landscape. No one was around to see the cataclysmic event, but scientists say data indicates the resulting tsunami was the second tallest ever on record, nearly as tall as New York City's Freedom Tower. Since then, teams of researchers have been studying the event to determine not just how it may have occurred, but how to raise awareness in coastal residents. Enter a 3D video game-like animation created by a University of Southern California team showing the tsunami from the perspective of a jet skier trying to outrun the huge wall of water. Researchers say the model offers visceral visual public education on the size and scope of events like these. And while they admit the animation may not win any awards, it offers the next best and safest thing to actually being there. Now, from a wall of water to a Wet n Wild Brother Bear bathtub jamboree. That's what folks at the Oregon Zoo recently shared on social media, showing a pair of orphaned bear siblings enjoying a spirited splash in a 300-gallon tub in the Northwestern Zoo's Black Bear Ridge habitat. The playful dip was the first of the season, according to the zoo, which labeled the vid simply, "Tubs out, Cubs out." And while the thrashy, splashy glee wasn't exactly a tsunami, ooh-wee, they sure did soak their surroundings while soaking up some sun. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
They have an official title,
Fuel mitigation specialist.
but they don't look like your typical firefighter.
You like my mustache?
And you don't want them to come with you out on a call.
If they were to find themselves at an emergency, no snacks would be safe.
They could also use a lesson in professionalism. Regardless, these kids play an important role.
Fire Station 96 is called the Goat House.
Four-legged lawnmowers look over the land and retention pond at this Central Pierce Fire and Rescue Station, so their vegetation doesn't fuel the risk of fire. And they keep firefighters from spending their downtime on weed whackers.
Because the goats work for snacks and all the vegetation that's available here, it does save the taxpayers money because our crews are able to focus on training and responding to calls.
Taxes don't fund the goats either. Any expenses they have are paid internally through their own Goat Fund Me account, contributed to by employees. They're really stubborn about doing a good job.
Much like our goats are doing here in our field. We want to hardscape and remove any fuels that can carry fire that come in contact with the buildings.
This year's Central Pierce Fire and Rescue hopes their living lawnmowers can really drive the message home for people.
We're in a heightened level of awareness based on our snowpack and precipitation over the winter. But until fire season really gets started, we won't know how severe it will be.
Reporting in Graham.
They're cool. They're goats.
Taylor Winkle, Fox 13 News.
During their 10-day trip around the moon, the crew of Artemis 2 snapped images of the Earth, moon, stars, and solar system in dazzling clarity. NASA posted more than 12,000 of the incredible star-laden snapshots online for everyone to enjoy. We don't have time to show off all these stunning space. During their 10-day trip around the moon, the crew of Artemis 2 snapped images of the Earth, moon, stars, and solar system in dazzling clarity. NASA posted more than 12,000 of the incredible star-laden snapshots online for everyone to enjoy. We don't have time to show off all these stunning space pics, but we can show you some of our favorites, starting with our own Earth in all its glory. Zooming way out to show the planet peeking out from over the top of the moon. And we bring the moon into further focus with detailed pics of the lunar surface, where the crew of Artemis 4 hopes to land in 2028. Plus, a POV picture from inside the Orion showing a view the 4 astronauts surely enjoyed and now we get to see as well.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True Crime Warrior Style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look, to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
But I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.
This is what he's going to tell you.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir. The only thing they could do was kill him.
Be the jury and to find the defendant